Once again, thank you, teachers, for joining us today. Today we have a really good presenter. Her name is Teacher Emmy Jemayo. She's a teacher with over a decade of experience in teaching lower primary schools. She's taught throughout Kenya in places such as Nandi, and she'll talk about that more. And she's even ventured outside the country. She was also part of the team that was developing the content for CBC. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Teacher Emmy to take over this session and share her knowledge with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Titus. Thank you for your warm welcome. My fellow teachers, my friends, my colleagues, as you've heard from Titus, my name is Teacher Emmy. I always like calling myself Teacher Emmy because I'm a teacher in class. Actually, yes, I'm a teacher. I've taught. I was so privileged to have taught in several counties in Kenya, and also gotten a privilege also to teach outside the country. So I can tell you I've taught in Nandi County, Uasin Gishu County, Nyandarua County, Mombasa County, and also outside the country. I don't tell you which country is that. But I'm a proud Kenyan citizen. That is why I always like being a Kenyan. Also to add on top of KS, I'm working with the KICD team, that is Kenya Institute of Educational Development, on developing the designs. Those designs you are using, we developed them long time ago. We had to sit and come up with them, develop materials, learning and teaching materials in your classrooms. I'm also an evaluator for the learning materials with the ones you are using in class, also the textbooks, all the resources like course books and supplementary books you are using. I'm one of the evaluators. We are many. It is not only me or two. We are very many in the team, and we work together to make sure that you are getting the correct content. Also, I was also privileged in the same sector. I'm working as an online curator for online materials for the learners all the way. Right now, we are moving to grade 5. Right now, we are doing the supplementary books for grade 5 online. The textbooks are out, but teachers, what is in the textbooks is just but to guide you. The most thing you're supposed to do is to get knowledge from it and do more of research and help those learners in the field. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I want us to learn together. I will not be taking you through all of it, but I'm giving you some hints on what I have, which can actually, I'm 100% sure. I'm not giving you full, but it will help you to move to a better level as a teacher while you are facilitating your learners in your classrooms. Thank you so much and welcome. Now, today, we are going to actually learn, have a small short training on lower primary mathematics. So I'm going to take you through lower primary mathematics guide for teachers. And this guide is going to help us to actually know what we are supposed to do in class with our learners so that we end up meeting our expectations as teachers. Welcome and journey with me as we learn. We are learning. I'm learning from you. And by the end of the day, all of us will have learned something. Welcome. Thank you. So I will start by talking about CBC. My friends, I will start by talking about CBC and majorly why the shift to CBC. Why are we shifting to CBC? Why me personally, Emmy, is encouraging all of us as teachers. I want 100% shift to CBC. Number one, for me, I feel like I should shift to CBC, or if I have shifted fully, it is not that I'm still trying to shift. I shifted long time ago, and I'm actually enjoying. Number one, why I'm enjoying it is because I found out that CBC has actually brought both parents, teachers, and children together. So working is very simple. My work as a teacher is very simple. I will give some work, and I make sure that I follow up to home and make sure the child is learning even when at home, because I'll be sending assessments home, and the parent is there to help me do the assessments with the children. And also the parents, wherever they feel like, oh, Teacher Emmy, my work, my child is not actually able to do your work. There is something my child missed. So tomorrow when the child comes back, I will know where to handle. And also, if it is possible for me to guide the learner using the phone, because we are digital now, I can talk to the parents and be like, this is what I expect from her or him. Give him or her the phone. I remind her or him how we did at school. So I feel CBC has helped me a lot to simplify my work, and also make sure that the follow-up is consistent from school to home. Another thing that I feel CBC has really helped me a lot is because CBC is emphasizing most on practicals. Children are doing practical work. So when a child does it by herself, sees it by himself or herself, he learns better and fast. So I am like, this CBC has helped me and helped my learners to learn using the real life situations, things they can see, things they can touch, things they can hear. So CBC has really helped me because they are trying to push that learning to be practical, make it real, make it like engaging, like children should do it by themselves. So I feel CBC as me, Emmy, has helped me a lot. It is not like I'm guessing, but it has done it for me. Another thing which CBC has actually helped me, and I feel we should shift to CBC, is specialization. CBC is actually emphasizing on specialization. You have to specialize. You have to individualize your learners. Learn to know what is good with your learner. Which side of the activities you give, which learner is giving the best on what side, so that you know their talents, so that you develop them so early, and also make sure you also inform the parents on the talents you are seeing in their learners, so that they can help you bring up what is best in them. And also, by the end of it, why I feel I should shift to CBC is because learners have always helped me teach the other learners, like they learn peerly. Like in class, I tell them, okay, because you are good in this, you have a talent in dancing, even you can teach this one to dance also. So I like CBC a lot because it has helped me a lot and lessen my work. Thank you so much. Now, I want us to move to CBC. What is CBC? What is CBC? Thank you so much, Titus. What is CBC? Why? Why this CBC? Still, we are still talking about why CBC. Me, Emmy, I feel like CBC is very flexible. My friends, it is very flexible. Reason number one being students are the ones which guide and control their learning. It is very flexible. For me as a teacher, my work is just to give our activities, I assess them and see the level of their understanding. They also have to give me feedback so that I be flexible myself and also make sure the children also are flexible to learn. So they are the ones who are going to tell me, continue, Teacher Emmy, let's go to the next, not by word of mouth, but by what I'm seeing, what I'm assessing from them. Is my objective achieved? Is it exceedingly achieved? Or am I supposed to go back and repeat it? Or am I supposed to have a remedial for some teachers, some learners? So CBC is very flexible. It is not forced. It is not rigid. Like, so long as I've stood in class, my lesson is done. You should be flexible as a teacher. Learners also should be flexible to guide you and control the learning. Another thing is individualized and self-based and self-paced. So what I mean is the speed that you're using, the activities you're doing are supposed to accommodate the learners and accommodate a variety of learning styles. You have to inculcate several approaches in it so that the learners can learn better. So here, when teaching in CBC is where we do bring in a lot of several approaches depending on the level of understanding of the children, depending on the readiness of the children. If you feel your child is not actually learning from the other approach, you can bring in another approach and make sure that the learners are getting it. Also, you should not go with the whole class. You should go with an individual. We don't look at the what? We don't look at the journey, like how the child started. We look at the final outcome. Like, yes, this child is slow, but at the end, after you using different strategies, using different approaches, giving different materials to make sure that the learner is learning, at the end of it, the child achieved. Your objectives were achieved. The child was able to do as per your plan, and you achieved your goals at the end of it. So we look at the outcome. We don't look at the journey, because some of in the past system, we were looking at the journey, like this child is, this one can never get it. Even if you can't even, you don't have to waste time with this child. But in CBC, we have to waste time with that child. It is not a wasted time, but it is a time to build that child to be who he or she is supposed to be in future. Another thing, CBC is very much engaging and skill-based. It is engaging. All the children are supposed to participate. That is why we say CBC, you have to come up with projects. You have to come up with practical activities where children are supposed to do, touch by themselves, see, hear it, talking. For example, you can use videos or what, but make sure that whatever you are doing in class is bringing out competences clearly, because CBC is all about bringing the competences in the children out clearly. Thank you so much, teachers. As we continue, we are going to learn more and more of these. Now, as I told you earlier, we are handling lower primary mathematics. And in lower primary mathematics, I will actually take you through the position of mathematics in lower primary, the essence of mathematics in lower primary, the themes in lower primary, consider I'll be the happiest person to know that there is some learning which is going on and you picked something which is helping you in your class. So please get ready, Danny. Yes, please. There is something you missed?
Yes, yes. From when you were talking about themes, you are frozen, and I've just heard you right now.
Oh, let me repeat the lower primary part of it, all of it, or I start from themes.
You could just please repeat this first screen, but because but just you can make it briefer, so that we just go to the next slide. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, teachers. As I told you earlier, that we are going to, I'm going to take you through the guide, teacher's guide for mathematics for teachers. Right now, I'm going to actually handle the position of mathematics in lower primary, the essence of mathematics in lower primary, themes in lower primary, considerations that teachers should consider while they are teaching mathematics in lower primary, and pedagogical strategies we are supposed to apply in lower primary. Thank you so much. Teachers, as I actually said, I'm not going to handle everything. When I talk about position, essence, themes, considerations, and pedagogical strategies, I don't mean that I'm going to handle everything right now, but I'm giving you very important points which will help you and will guide you research on the other activities which can apply to your lessons in your classes. Thank you so much. Get ready to listen to this because I will have given you the top cream. So be ready. Now, as I talk to you about position of mathematics. Mathematics actually is very important. It is very, very, very important, teachers. So as teachers, we are supposed to make sure that we do it and do it right in the lower primary. Why? Because mathematics builds competences such as critical thinking in children, problem solving. They also build understanding and using of shapes. Also, it helps in understanding measuring skills and develop mathematics is actually very, very, very important. So as we teach mathematics, teachers, we are supposed to be thinking about these skills which are developed. And when you develop these skills, they will help them in their higher levels as they gradually grow in their education. Thank you so much. Now, we will move to essence of mathematics in lower primary. In lower primary, we have grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. So the essence of mathematics in grade 1, this is what the learners do while they are in grade 1, in grade 2, in grade 3. So I'm going to start with the grade 1. In grade 1, your learners will start to build confidence with numbers through developing their counting and calculation skills. They will also gain an understanding of halves and quarters, start to measure and tell the time. They will also learn about some 2D and 3D shapes. Teachers, this is what lower grade 1 children are going to learn while they are in their lower primary stage. So as I'm going to move to the next class, that is grade 2, you will realize that there are some changes. From grade 1, they're learning, yes, the same thing, but when they move to grade 2, it is a bit complex. For example, in grade 1, when they are doing numbers, they will write numbers 1 up to 20. Yes, they can count, they can rote count 1 up to 100, 1 up to 50, but it is not fixed. Their content is 1 up to 20, writing, recognizing, and ordering them. When they move to grade 2, learners will learn to compare and order numbers from 1 to 100. They will recognize the place value of 2 digits, the 2-digit numbers, and will be able to use this to solve problems. They will also make more use of number lines and will be able to use less than more than, and equal simples. So here in grade 2, in grade 1, what they are doing in grade 1 is actually about when they are doing number values, they do values of tens and values of ones and tens. When they move to grade 2, they will do values of ones, tens, and hundreds. That is how they are moving. Now, when they will be in grade 3, in grade 3, learners will start to work with bigger numbers. Hope you're understanding, my fellow teachers, that we are actually moving up gradually. In grade 3, we are saying they will learn now to use bigger numbers. They are working with bigger numbers all the way up to 1,000. While they were in grade 2, they were going up to 100. Now in grade 3, they are in 1,000. They will count in multiples of 4s, 8s, 50s, and 100s, and will use their understanding to place value to solve increasingly tricky number problems. So teachers, I think you've realized that there is some gradual movement from grade 1 to grade 2. The content, yes, might be the same. The substrand might be the same, but the content you are giving the learners is a bit complex compared to grade 1. When you move to grade 3, also the content is more complex compared to grade 2. Thank you so much, teachers. Let's learn to actually give the best. Let's give the best according to their levels. When I get to summary now, I'm going to give you a summary of essence of mathematics in lower primary. And my teachers, it is very, very important that we know what is so important with mathematics in lower primary. Number one, in lower primary, mathematics prepares learners to work with numbers. It prepares learners for number work, like now ready to use numbers, to put them together, do subtraction, multiplies, divide, and all that. Number two, another thing which is actually important with the numbers in lower primary is mathematics prepares learners for higher level math skills. It prepares them to be ready as to grow gradually from grade 1 to 3, from lower primary to upper primary, from upper primary to higher levels. Another one is for math approaches in all aspects of life. Next is mathematics also prepare learners to identify the place value of numbers correctly. They identify the place values. Also, they place the numbers in their correct values. So mathematics helps them to do so. Another thing is also mathematics also helps the learners to approaches or operations. So when you take them through mathematics in lower primary, learners will be able to use mathematics operations correctly. For example, plus equals to, so they will be able to actually use them correctly. Thank you so much. Now, as we continue, I'm going to take you through the themes which are in lower primary. In lower primary, we have several themes which are the same as strands. Please don't get confused when you hear the word themes. It is still the same as the strands. Now in CBC, we are calling them strands. So in grade 1, the strands we actually handle in grade 1 is numbers and place value. We also handle addition and subtraction. We also handle geometry. In grade 2, as we move, in grade 2, we handle numbers and place value. We also do addition and subtraction. We will also do division and multiplication and geometry. In grade 3, we will do numbers and place value, addition and subtraction, division and multiplication, geometry. So my teachers, you will hear that all the themes or strands I've mentioned are the same from grade 1, grade 2 to grade 3. There is just a slight difference, that is in division and multiplication. Otherwise, all the other strands are the same. But please, my teachers, don't overlook it. There is some difference. There is great difference in this, because the content you are going to give in grade 1 is not the same content you are going to give in grade 2, and it is not the same content also you are going to give in grade 3. The strand is the same, but the content is different. I can give you an example, my teachers. I like giving examples so that we get to understand and actually make sure we are doing the right thing in our classes. Let me give you an example for the first strand, that is numbers and place value. When we are doing numbers and place value in grade 1, as I earlier said, is we do ones and tens. We stop there. When we are counting numbers and writing numbers and recognizing numbers in grade 1, we do recognition and writing 1 up to 20 in grade 1. We wrote count up to 100. But when we are rote counting, teachers, I'm sure you know, we are not serious when we are rote counting. So we give a chance to those learners who can actually do exceedingly of what you expect from them. So when we move to grade 2, when we are doing numbers and place value in grade 2, I start with place value. So when we are doing place value in grade 2, we do ones, tens, and hundreds in grade 2. When we are doing numbers in grade 2, like recognition, writing, and filling in and counting, we do 1 up to 100 in grade 2. We count, we recognize, and we write in grade 2. So when we move to grade 3, when we are doing place value in grade 3, we do ones, tens, hundred, and thousands. Okay, are you feeling my gradual complexity of work? Like I'm moving from grade 1, the content is simpler, moving to grade 2, a bit complex, moving to grade 3, now it is complex compared to the rest of the classes behind. So as I said, numbers now in grade 3 is up to 1,000. Also in place value, we are doing thousands. Writing and recognition of numbers, counting, filling in is more complex compared to the other classes. Same thing applies to the rest of the strands or the rest of the themes. Teachers, let's do our best and make sure that we individualize our learners. This CBC has come in a way that we are dealing with a learner. We are not dealing with the learners. We are not going with a group. We are going with an individual. Thank you so much. And please get ready to move with me with some exciting activities ahead of us. Thank you so much. Also, I would like to take you through the important considerations. Very important, teachers. Please take note of this because it is very, very important. It will help us in our classrooms. For effective delivery of math, note the following considerations. Please, teachers, note. Make learning hands-on. Number 1, make learning hands-on. Let the children do the work. Let them actually try, even if it is letting them actually go and touch the soil, sand, or what, make them dirty. Let them do it. Don't be like, I don't want my children to be dirty. Please make those children dirty. Let them do it. Let them know. Let them actually participate, be engaged. Give them activities to do them by themselves, and actually after a very good introduction. Very good introduction means clear introduction. Okay, another thing, teachers, number 2, you have to consider is use visuals and images. Use visuals. Let them see. Let them touch. Let them actually see it coming. Let them construct something and they see it coming from nothing to something, and you will see them being like, wow, at long run, we've got it. For example, if you are building a house, you want them to come up with a homestead. Let them do it. Let them cut the boxes. Provide them with the materials. Give them the scissors, give them the boxes, give them what they cut it, and let them do it. Make it practical, and they will actually enjoy. And even you'll be smiling at the corner and be like, wow, wow. Another consideration teachers are supposed to consider is to find opportunities to differentiate learning. Group your learners. Please, teachers, find an opportunity to know your learners. What kind of learners do you have? How is Emmy in that class? Is she working well with the others? Is she actually participating in the learning? What am I supposed to do? Can I group Emmy and John together? Can they work better? Is Emmy able to work with a bigger group or a smaller group? Consider your learners. Please, teachers, consider your learners as an individual, not as a group. Look at that child as an individual. Another consideration, teachers, is this one is very, very, very important. Please give your children an opportunity to explain their ideas after the lesson. Give them the opportunity. Ask them, what do you think? How did it come out? What can we change? What can we add? And you will hear very exciting answers from them. Tell them, turn and talk. Talk to your friend. Give us a group leader to tell us what you are turning and talking. What were you talking? What have you discussed? You choose a leader. Tell them to present what they have for the whole class to learn from each other. Thank you so much, my teachers. Let's journey together on this and make sure we are bringing up competent children in our classes. Thank you so much. Okay, now as we move, we've said we are learning. Now we are moving to the very important part of the training. This is the heart of the training. So please work with me. We are now handling about the pedagogical approaches. And I've actually come up with very few approaches. There are many, my friends. I just picked very few. That is differentiated learning, because I like it. I use it myself in class. Cooperative learning, I like it also. I use it personally and I enjoy it. I always meet my expectations. Visualized learning also is the best for me, because I know my children, some of them are very good at listening and actually they can get it, but some of them have to see it so that they can get it. So these are the approaches I've actually applied in my classrooms, and I've seen them come out so well. As we move ahead, you will see the activities I've actually done with my class, and they've actually stood out so well. So I'm going to discuss about differentiated learning. Differentiated learning actually is like the mother of all the other approaches. I feel like when I'm doing cooperative learning, I also have to incorporate with the differentiated learning as I do my cooperative learning. Visualized learning, also differentiated learning comes in there. So my teachers, I'm going to discuss about cooperative learning, and you will actually find to hear me talk about differentiated learning inside it. When I'm talking about visualized learning, you will hear me come up with some points about differentiated learning. So please, let's go together, enjoy the journey, get to understand some few approaches I've come up with, and we will be happy together in our classrooms. So my first approach I'm going to handle right now is cooperative learning approach. When you hear the word cooperative, that means you have to cooperate. We have to work together. If you look at that picture, those children are working together, and you can see the way they are very attentive. Everyone is very actually attentive. They are watching. There is something they are learning together. So, and you can see no one is actually interrupting with the lesson. They are calm. They are cooperating. So for you to come up with a cooperative learning, you have to guide your learners very well on how to work together. Because if you are not that good teacher who can make your learners to work together, then cooperative learning will not work for you. The first thing you're supposed to do is to teach your learners to work together. Work with your friends. We are all friends. My class, I say, we are all friends and we have to work together. So when I go to class, I be like, oh, my friends, they say, yes, friend, I want us to work together. And that is the time now they go into their groups. I've grouped them according to, okay, I have different groups because I don't actually maintain a group. For example, I say you and you 5 every day there. No, I group my children according to how I look at them as I do my introduction. When I'm doing my introduction, who is listening? Who is careful? Who is that? Who seems like he or she is lost? So that I can go to that group and guide them more when we are in that group together as we work together. So thank you so much. Let me give you an activity I've ever done on cooperative learning in my class. So I will start with grade 1. In my grade 1, this is the class I like most. I like grade 1. It's not that I don't like grade 2, grade 3. I like all the classes. But you know, these ones have just come from nursery. They're very innocent. They say the truth. They say everything. Teacher, I've not understood. I don't know that one. So I'll start with grade 1, how I do my cooperative learning in grade 1. So in grade 1, I do treasure hunt. This is a game. It is a game called treasure hunt. So when we are doing cooperative learning, we are working together. One day I was doing this activity, and actually I always like preparing myself a day before. So in the evening before we left, before we actually departed in the evening to go home, I told them tomorrow we will have an activity, and the activity is all about treasure hunting. We are going to play with the sand. We are going to do addition. We are going to put together numbers, and we are going to add and give me the answer. So tomorrow, please come with the teams because we are going to use teams. So the following day, they came with the teams. And they came with the teams. Before we actually moved from my class, I had to explain to them first in class. What we are going to do, I demonstrated. I carried some sand in my tin. What we are going to do is to put sand in this tin, the way I've put it. Have you seen? Yes. So when we go out, we are going to put sand in these tins. Inside the tins, I will put some numbers, flashcards, the small flashcards, laminated, nicely cut and laminated so that you don't actually have to prepare another one like it has been tempered in the soil. No, mine are cut, laminated, small, but very well cut. So I put them like randomly, pick randomly, put them in we are going to put them in the tin, and I put a sign, for example, plus, because we are doing addition. So there is one sign I'm going to put inside your tin, and that is a plus sign. So what you are going to do is, it is me who is going to pick the plus sign. I put it on your table, in your group now. Because it will be outside, it will not be on the table. So, but when I was explaining, I put it on the table. I actually search for the numbers. The first number I pick is the first number on my left. When we are writing, we write from left, going to the right. So on my left, I place my first number I pick. And then here in the middle, there is a plus, of which I had already placed it there. I search again. I pick another number. Any number I pick, you put it now on my right, and we put together that number. Now we are adding 4 plus 3. Say you are 4 and you are 3. How many? Put together. Give me the answer. So you actually have to do what? Shout the answer. What answer is that? 7. So my learners, now let's go out. That is the activity we are going to do. When we move out, actually, That is, I actually had to group my learners, okay? And actually for them, they know already. I've grouped them. They know this is group A, for example, group P, and group Z, for example. And then I had to label the teams. This is A, P, Z. So put your sand in the group leader, put your sand in the tin. You put the sand in the tin, not full, okay? It should be somehow 3/4 because you have to leave some space for searching. They will actually remove all the sand, and the sand will be off. So put it like 3/4 of the tin. Tell them now, okay, blindfold them. For me, I blindfolded them. So I blindfolded them. After putting the numbers randomly inside, I told them, okay, now blindfold yourselves. So they removed the hand keys, because for us, we used the hand keys. They removed, and we started now. I told them, now, go. Okay, sorry, I've skipped a step. While I was explaining to them, I told them the first group who are going to come up with more additions, more numbers of additions, like
moving on well. Thank you. It's just wonderful.
I told them you arrange with the first group who are going to come up with several numbers correctly are going to be the star of the week. So the faster you do, the faster you get the answers, the more chances of you becoming the winners. And they know, my class knows, when I say you are the stars, the pride there, the energy which is there, they know the meaning of being a star in a class. So they did it, they cite, teacher. So those ones who are cooperating, because they have to cooperate. Another one is searching, another one is starting adding. So you could see them putting fingers, 4. We've removed 4. Put another 2. I had to count very, very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They say, teacher, 6. I tick them. 1. Teacher, this one. 4. Like that. So they have to work together. There is another one placing the number. There is another one placing the plus, and another one placing the second number. Another one is busy adding. We've seen 5. You removed 5. The next number. 2. They add very fast. 5. It was 5, 6, 7. They add. They come up. So it is fun. Competition. They are cooperating, because if they don't coordinate well, those ones who don't know how to cooperate will always be the last. They will not be faster like those ones who are like, you are removing me. I've started placing the place value now. This is 4. You've removed how many? What number is that? This one. And me, I'm so fast in counting. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer is 6. So it was very interesting, my friends. It was really an enjoyable activity. I felt like, wow, I could repeat it every other time, because I've told you I have so many experiences in teaching. That experiment alone has helped me not to struggle teaching addition. It has actually done my addition wonderful. I always go out. Let's do treasure hunt. Okay, we do that very fast. And at the end of the day, the stars, I tell them, wow, my stars, give me a hug, give me a hug. The way they feel happy when they are giving you a hug. Do you think they will forget? No. Thank you so much. That is cooperative learning approach in grade 1 addition. So let's move to cooperative learning approach in grade 2. What I used in grade 2. I told you I'm giving you examples I've done myself in my class, and actually how I saw it coming out so well. I was doing counting backwards. The way counting backwards at some point is difficult for children, especially counting backwards in 2s. In 1s, they are comfortable. In 5s, they are comfortable. In 10s, they are okay. But when you tell them count backwards in 2s, you'll be like 10, 8, you get, but when you tell them counting ones, they'll be like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, so far. In 10s, they will tell you 10, 90, 80, 70, like that. They're so fast. But in 2s, I found out that counting in 2s was a bit struggle for my children, especially from grade 1, even moving to grade 2, because from grade 2 now they are counting from maybe 20 going backwards. Even in grade 1, we've done counting from 20 going backwards, 10 going backwards. So I actually came up with an activity whereby and actually I have a song for counting backwards. And that song I've used for counting backwards in all numbers, like in 2s, in 1s, in 5s, in 3s, in 4s, like this, okay? It is about the bottles, and the bottles will keep falling. So when it falls, that means we are subtracting. When it falls, we are subtracting. So I've actually used the song to help me both in counting backwards, and also it is helping me in doing subtraction. Okay, let me see it work very well. Because I was going to sing a song saying green bottles. I told them, please bring green bottles, which numbers we are counting, and also I make sure that I'm using the correct color as I teach. I should not assume that they know colors. So I should use the real objects, the real thing. When I say green, it should come out green. If it is red, I also have to make sure that I'm not very sharp. They'll be like, teacher, but you're saying red, and this one is green. How comes you are saying all the time green, and this one is yellow? So I made sure that all my bottles were green. If it is not green, I could change. If it is white, I put some green food color to change the bottle to be collect the bottles. They came with the bottles. We arrange the bottles, and it is not me arranging. I pick one of the learners and I told her, please arrange for me these bottles along the wall. So she arranged all the bottles, and then I told them, now I'm going to because you have to introduce, okay? Teachers, don't just give them an activity before you introduce, before you explain to them, and make sure that they have understood what you expect from them. Please introduce and make sure the introduction is very, very clear. So what I did is I told a girl, for me, actually the one who arranged my bottles was a girl, arranged them along the wall. She arranged them so nicely. This one we are doing as a group because I'm trying to introduce it at that time. Now we are going to start counting, start with 1, counting backwards in ones. So we started singing, 10 green bottles standing on the wall, 10 green bottles standing on the wall, and if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there will be 9 green bottles. So when we say, and if 1 green bottle accidentally falls, one of the children is supposed to make sure one of the bottles is falling, okay? So one of the child is supposed, when I say, and if 1 green bottle should accidentally fall, there will be, so you make sure the 1 green bottle is falling down to make sure that we are reducing 1. So like that, we sang until them, they knew how to sing, they know how to, they have known all the wordings in the song. So I grouped them now. And okay, for me, I had done it in 3-3-3-3 because I wanted to see how everyone is participating. One is singing, one is actually arranging, is going to arrange. Another one is going to make sure the balls are falling. And another one now is the leader. Is the leader who is now leading the song. But all of them now are supposed to sing as they do the activity. So they made sure one bottle is falling after the other. When I realized that they had gotten 1-1-1, now we moved to 2, because my main objective was to make sure that these learners can count backwards in 2s. So they started falling in 2s like that. And the song went repeated as many times as we could. And actually, by the end of that lesson, the strand, by the end of the sub-strand, counting in backwards, my dear teachers, I was that person who could go smiling and feel like, I feel like this exam should come. And they test my children. Oh, we don't call it exams, my fellow friends, we call it assessment. I feel like this assessment should come now, and they assess my learners, and I see them getting it correct, counting in 2s, counting in 3s, counting in 4s. Because for me, I was looking at 1s is okay for me, 5s was okay for me, 10s was okay for me. But now these 2s, 3s, 4s was not very okay for me. That is why I introduced that song, and it worked marvelously. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to another substrand on how to teach cooperative learning in grade 3. Thank you, Titus. Now we are going to grade 3, and in grade 3, I will actually take you through how to teach multiplication as in a cooperative learning approach. Now, in grade 3, what I also, you can use addition, actually my addition approach in all the classes. You can use my counting backwards in all the classes. I don't mean like when I say multiplication in grade 3, it is only for grade 3. No, you can apply it in any class, so long as you are in lower primary. I'm talking to my lower primary teachers. The upper primary teachers can still, but the message is for lower primary teachers. So what I did in multiplication in grade 3, as we did cooperative learning, is I used the dice game. Okay, I used a game. It is called a dice game. So I have in my class, I have dices. So I made sure that I collected enough of them. I grouped my learners into pairs. At first, I started with pairs because in 2, 2, 2, 2. Now, when I grouped them, I had to give each group 2 dices because they have to roll it. The dices are supposed to be having numbers. If not numbers, then they should be having dots representing numbers. Okay, so it must have something representing a number. For example, what I have here are dots which are representing numbers. If you look at those dices on top, there is a certain number represented. So what I was telling my children is, okay, sit in your groups, roll the dice, but you should roll one after the other. Okay, you ask the learners to roll the dice one after the other. They are not supposed to roll it all over, like all of the 2 of them rolling it together. No, let them roll in turns. Okay, Emmy, roll it. What number is on, at the top? Number 4. You write your 4. John, roll it. John rolls it. What number is at the top? Is 2. So 4 times 2. Now, give us the answer. 4 times 2. What is the answer? You give us the answer. So multiply the 2 numbers on top of the first and the second dice. So make sure the children actually gets that introduction very well, that it is the number at the top, not the number at the side, because the sides are so many. The sides will be like 3 or 4, but we want them not to get confused. So the one which is at the top is the number we are going to count and actually write. Dices actually are different. We have those dices with numbers, real number like mine now on the screen. You count the dots. How many are they? It represents 5, for example. So you count, you multiply the numbers, of the two, and you give the answer. The first group to finish, you have to tell them, now I'm giving you to roll the dice. Everybody should roll the dice 3 times. That means 3 sums. So the first group to finish my 3 sums are the winners of the group. And that day, because of course me, maths, I always do it in the morning. I don't do it in the afternoon, because the lesson for maths in my timetable, I always say maths gets in very fast in the morning before lunch. So I will tell them, the winners for today are going to sit with me and eat with me from my table lunch. So we eat together, we chat, we laugh, and the others, you know, when they look at you sitting with the teacher, they feel like, hey, you're so precious. And the ones who are sitting with you also are very happy. I wish you could see how lovely they were looking, how they felt like they are carrying the whole world and showing everybody. Can I show you how to do it? Come and show you. It is done like this. Now they feel like they are the ones now to teach, and children learn from themselves better than from their teacher. Please, you will attest that as teachers. If you are a good teacher and you've done that, you will actually know what I mean by saying that. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next approach I have for you. And the next approach I have for you is called visualized learning approach. Visualized learning approach. So in visualized learning approach, this one means visual. You have to use your eyes. Okay? The child has to use his or her eyes to learn. So you have to give them some pictures. You give them what they can see, what they can actually look at and learn from them. For example, you can look at my picture and you can see a TV. So if you can play some music on the, not really music, some videos on the TV, even some pictures, you just bring some pictures on a TV, they see the pictures. For example, if you are teaching, what can I say, counting numbers, like the way they are on the screen, you want them to know the value and the number. So you put a value and you put a number. You can do our PowerPoint, because a PowerPoint is very, very much effective, because you can bring a number and then after some time you bring in the value of that number, or you start with the value and then you ask them questions. What do you think that value represents? Which number is that? Who can write for us that number? And then you bring the number for them to confirm that they got it right or they got it wrong, so they need to correct. Because sometimes in this lower primary, some children can write some numbers facing the other side, like mirror reflection. So when you bring them and they see them, they can learn from that and they can change and write what you exactly want. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to classroom situation now when I'm teaching my children using the visualized learning approach. In grade 1, this one I've used it and it works perfectly. You know, I'm talking about grade 1 because I always look at the teachers when we are sitting in the staff room. When the year ends, like we are starting now, new year, teachers will be like, wait, don't put me in grade 1, please don't. I suffered the other time. They come when they are very fresh. They know nothing. They don't know even how to count. But I tell you, my teachers, this is the class I like most. In grade 1, how I did my addition in grade 1 using visualized learning is to bring a picture. I told them, okay, I had several pictures on the wall. In my class, I have several pictures. I have a box of pictures also, full of pictures in my class. So I gave them several pictures. There are some on the hang, which are actually mounted already on the walls. So I asked the learners to go around the class, like go around, count. How many balls can you see in this class? You count. There are those ones in the charts. There are those ones which are actually in my flashcards. There are those ones which are actually real balls in class, because at break time we have to go and play. So they counted and be like, teacher, you know, some of them, you will realize that children are really different. There are those ones who will assume some other things. They will count and be like 1, 2, 3, only counting the ones on the charts. There are those ones who are very critical. They will go count the ones on the real ones, which are actually lying around in class. And they'll tell you, teacher, I have 10. The other will be like, there are only 2. And they will be something like what do we say? Like communication in class, like we are saying, like discussion. No, how did you get 2? For me, you see, it is only 2, 1, 2. No, for me, there are 5. You see, it is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other, no, me, I got 10. Look, it is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My teachers, all those children are correct. The only difference is the way they are very critical on doing things. Those ones who are observative. So they counted and they gave me the correct answer. So I would be like, okay, who has gotten everything correct? It'd be like, you see, the one who is having 2 will be like, oh, yes, I forgot to count that one. The one with 7, I almost got, but I forgot to count plus this one. By the end of the lesson, my children will have known that when you are counting, you have to be critical. You have to count everything. If I say balls, count all the balls in my class and you get it right. So I always appreciate the leading team or the leading learner, the learner who has showed some effort. In CBC, we actually appreciate effort. We don't tell them you are the best, no, it is effort. What effort have you showed in your learning? So we appreciate them. We give them stars in class. For me, I have several ways of appreciating my children. I give them stars. I tell them now, it is you now is going to be the prefect for this week in my class. You are collecting books. You are issuing books. You are collecting pencils from your friends. It is you is going to sharpen for the children. It is you is going to pick my bag and put it on my table nicely. It is you to tidy up my table, and they feel so excited when they are doing that. For someone, you will feel like, this child is overworked, but that child feels actually recognized, and they go home saying, my teacher is my friend. Today I carried teacher's bag. They are so happy when you give them some responsibilities to do. Appreciate them. It is not all about sweets. It is not all about this. Just play with their minds. Thank you so much. That is how I play with the minds of my children. Visualized learning approach. I give them what they can see. Another visualized learning approach I've ever used in grade 2 is about the shapes. I was teaching the shapes. And what I realized why I was using this to teach shapes is where I had realized that my children actually are still misspelling the shapes, the names of the shapes, especially rectangle, triangle. They use GOL at the end, like rectangle. Circle is SACO. So I decided to use visualized learning. In that day, I provided a video with different shapes. I had it in my flash. I actually used for us, okay, we had a smart board. So I fixed the flash, inserted the flash, and I asked one of the learners to go and play because they know. I've showed them because they have to know how to play a PC, a laptop anyway, or a desktop, or a computer, or any gadget you are using in class. So for me, I always select one of the learners to play. So playing is just pressing play or okay. So after that, I told the learners, now, because we are going to watch as we listen, okay? So we have to be very keen. We have to keep quiet and watch, be observative, listen attentively, be calm and listen. So there is a way I teach them. When we are watching, there is, you actually have to cross your hands and listen and sit upright. Face the TV straight on the screen and you see whatever is happening on the screen. So my shapes were coming like circle, it comes a circle, and then the name comes circle. And then also the pronunciation also comes in circle. So the child will see the name, the picture, circle. And then also the child will see the name, circle. So the child also sees the word circle, the name circle. So by the end of the day, the children actually had realized that, so this is how we write the circle. So this is the circle. So, okay, other than you, because most of the time, maybe you've used visualize to bring in this flashcard, like this is a circle, this is a rectangle, look at this, it is a rectangle. Is it looking like a rectangle? Look at this one also. Is it a rectangle or a what? Okay, so at some point, you have also to make sure that the children see what you're saying. Let them see. Repeat and repeat. For me, I always repeat. I don't mind wasting time, so long as by the end of the day or by the end of my strand or my sub-strand, I will not repeat it. That one will have been grasped and grasped forever. I will never repeat it. That one is a forgotten story for me. So I better waste time and make sure it is here. It has never gone anywhere else. It is here and it is stuck. So you repeat. After that, what I did myself is, after the video now, I have to shut it down. Ask the children, please turn to your friend. It is time to turn and talk. Okay, for me, I always say, turn and talk. So when I say turn and talk, they know the next person on your right is the person you're supposed to turn to. I give instructions. For me, in my class, they know it. When I say turn and talk, it is, you're right. Turn to your friend in the video. What have you learned? Can you turn one shape to your friend, and the other friend will also write the name of one shape according to how they want. After that, now to talk. Let them now in a group. Tell them now. Tell me what you discussed with your friend. Give me one person who is going to tell us what you discussed with your friend. They are very, that is also teaching them leadership, how to select someone. All of us are not supposed to be leaders. They let your learners understand that from the first day. All of us are not supposed to be leaders, and all of us are not supposed to be talking at the same time. Today it is me, tomorrow it is you. Give me a person. It is not supposed to be you, the teacher, every other time saying, Emmy, tell us, what did you learn today? Tomorrow, Julius, tell us, what did you learn today? No, let them also learn on their behalf. Thank you so much, friends. That is approach in my class. Thank you. So I will move ahead and actually take you through also how I used visualized learning in grade 3 when we were doing measurements. This one was very interesting. Actually, I had to be like, okay, I tried to make one. They would be laughing at me. They could be like, teacher, so you don't know how to make a beam balance. So I used, at the end of the day, I was sharing a real story to my fellow teachers, and I was actually, teachers, please stress yourself like I'm making materials. I'm no, these children are very wonderful. So my experience personally is I was having measurements and we were doing capacity, weights, heavier than and lighter than. So I went to P3, grade 3 class. When I was in grade 3 class, we actually started the introduction. So I introduced them and I told them, okay, tomorrow we are going to do a project, a practical exercise, practical activity, and we are going to measure and we will see what happens if something is lighter than the other. What happens if something is heavier than the other? And we are going to use a beam balance. Now, I want you to go home and help me make a beam balance from home with the help of your daddy or your mom or your auntie or your uncle. But try to make sure you are participating in coming up with the material, the beam balance. Oh, for me, I was like, anyway, okay, I've given them that exercise to go and do it from home. But I'm not sure if they are going to come with what I want, because if you don't balance that thing well, you will not get the correct results. Because when it stands by itself, even before you put anything, there is another part which is heavier and another part is lighter. So when you start putting the things, you will not get the real thing you wanted. But to my surprise, those children came in the morning, very excited. We are, because of course, yes, we are collecting them in the morning in the bus. We are coming with those things, and the teacher started calling me. The teacher who is actually dealing with what is this? You told these children to come. How are we going to handle them in the bus? The way they've come with it, I told them, please, I have some space, and please collect them and keep them nicely. Let them not break. So the teacher actually helped me. They collect. Here is mine. Here is mine. Uncle helped me here. But this one, I was doing it alone. And I was excited. Before even we could do this experiment, I was very excited. So they saw it. They did it by themselves. So they saw it. And now we are yet to see more. So what I asked my learners was, okay, here are the beam balances. So of course, there are those ones who were like, especially girls. They are not good carpenters. So I selected the best and I started grouping them now. But don't let them, I didn't let them know that I'm selecting this because I know. I'm like, you know, we are supposed to do things in groups, isn't it? Now, I want us to sit in groups and which one do you think we can use? They're like, this one, this group, I'll go with that one. And which one do you think also we can use? This one. So they identified by themselves so that they don't feel like we are bullying them or we are trying to show them that they have not given us the best, they have not done the best, but let them actually decide on what to do at some point. So they decided by themselves. I grouped them. I told them, now, let's start. So they were in pairs, and they grew. I grouped them. They started now. I gave them materials to weigh, to put in the beam balance. So I in every group, I gave two materials, two heavy, two lighter. So start doing the experiment. So the first group actually put the same, like light and light, and the thing was balancing. I told them, what have you realized about that? There is none which is heavier. Both of them are the same. I told them that one now is called same. They are the same. No, this one is not heavier than the other, but both the objects are equal in measurement. So we continued like that because for me, even I was not ready to do same, but I had to do it and finish it because it has come out by itself. It came out by itself. I did that like I was not doing it intentional, like giving them powers. They were going to raise this one first because this one, knowing that children, the way they think is not the way you think, you as a teacher. For me, I was thinking they will think the way I'm thinking, and they are going to use these materials, like put a lighter. For them now, they could put both heavier and heavier together, same weight, so it is balancing. Lighter and lighter, same weight, so it is balancing. Lighter and heavier, so it was going down. So, and that is when now we had to explain more than what do you call heavier than, by saying the one which is up is lighter and the one which is going down is heavier than the other one. So when they do it, I say see. They see, they do it and they see it. They learn better and they get to grasp the concept very fast. Very fast. So later, I had to tell these children, now, thank you for the project. Now let's come together. I want us to discuss and share. From every group, give me a leader who is going to tell what did you learn. And they actually made themselves understand better than I could do it myself. And I was like, wow, my work is easy. Mine is just to sit now and see them teaching themselves. And actually by the end of it, that lesson was done and it was wow. So the steps, my teachers, you're supposed to repeat. Learning in lower primary is all about repeating. Don't assume that because I've introduced, I've taught, and I've written in my lesson plan that taught. Objective achieved. Who achieved? Have you realized that all the children have achieved? You don't go per group, don't go per the best, you are best in class, but go as a learner, as have all of them achieved. Are you now ready to move to the next level? Are the learners now willing to let you bring in something else? Or are you supposed to repeat, never be tired, repeat and repeat, and you will enjoy. You will never regret it. You will be like, I'm moving with my children. I don't want any other teacher to come to my, I'm moving. And when you are ending the year, when they are actually allocating classes, everybody in that staff room will be like, give me teacher James' class. That is the class I want. Give me. Everybody is fighting for your class. Competencies. Build the competence of that learner. Make the learners actually ready to accommodate any activity coming ahead of them. They are ready because they were well baked. They did visualized learning. They were given materials to interact with. They are those children who can cooperate. They can teach each other. They can stand, someone who can, that is what we call learning. CBC right now, as we actually are trying to embrace it and make it work for us and for the children. Please, teachers, thank you so much. I wish you all the best as we plan to actually write together and make sure we are coming up with the best in these children. They have it. It is not something we are going to start looking for it. They have it. Our work is just to cultivate. Let's bring it up. Let's make it come up. Let's bring it and make sure that they are actually going in the right direction. Give them an opportunity and you will never be surprised. For me, I'm always saying I don't want to be surprised because I've known children. So please, teachers, let's get ready to embrace and actually make mathematics shine. Let's build a very good foundation whereby even teachers in upper primary will be like, wow, math is not it is the approaches we are using. Let's please look for approaches where children can enjoy. Give them projects, give them games, give them songs, give them things to watch like videos, audios. Let them listen. There are those learners who learn better by listening. There are those learners who learn better by seeing. There are those learners who learn better by touching, interacting with materials. They learn better. We don't learn the same. Thank you so much, Titus.
Thank you so much, Teacher Amy. That was a wonderful session. I'd like to open the floor to a few teachers who have questions for Teacher Amy, so I'll allow you to unmute your mic and ask the question. Thereafter, I'll share a little bit of information about the CBC app and the team that has made this session possible. Then we will close. So if anyone has a question. Yeah. So as you're asking the question, for every teacher who has attended, we'll share information on how you can get the recording and get your certificate. So for everyone who has attended, you'll get the certificate for free. But thereafter, we will have the recording online with a few questions so that any other teacher who might have joined late can also watch the video and be part of the session. So we have a teacher who has unmuted. Sylvia, do you have a question? Okay. Yeah. Walimu, the floor is yours. Does anyone have a question or comment for Teacher Amy? Enos, I can see that you have unmuted.
Yeah, I understand. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you because of granting me this opportunity. My question was on handling the breaking apart, addition by breaking apart. It's little challenging task when it comes to handling grade 2s. And therefore, I was very eager to see the approach that we are going to have, especially when tackling addition by breaking apart. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, Enos. Teacher Amy?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Enos. I'll beg your pardon, please.
Okay. I wanted to. Hello?
Hello? Are you meaning? Do you mean counting backwards?
Hello?
Is it counting backwards in twos? Do you mean counting backwards in twos?
Yes. Okay. When doing the semester, the one that we were calling the EGMA training, I understand there is that a bit of addition by breaking apart.
Counting backwards.
Yeah. It's still a challenge. Yeah, so I wanted more of it, especially when it comes to these slow learners. You find, okay, there are those people who have, they're not very okay in catching up with the fast learners. Yeah, so it's still a challenge. Are there more activities that we can engage in? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Enos. We have
Yes.
several approaches. We have several
Yes. Yeah.
activities. We have several ways of teaching
Mhm.
addition
Mhm.
or subtraction.
Yes.
The way you say
Yeah.
Okay, Walim, I think Emmy has experienced a challenge, but this happens with this online session. So let's give her a few minutes to join back and answer that question that was posed by Enos. In the meantime, just like to remind you to kindly fill in the form that's been linked in the chat for us to reach out on how you'll get the certificates, as well as the recording and the material, the presentation for the session. Yeah.
Kama saa hii imenyamaza.
So in the meantime, I'll share my screen and talk to you about the CBC. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yako inaleta video? Yako inaleta video? Hata hili kataa. Nilidhani ni vipi, sikujua kuni sababu nimtapa hivi.
Ilikuwa inaonyesha sasa.
Ikata.
No, I was trying to actually talk to, was it Enos?
I think Shem is back.
Sorry for the network. Can you hear me?
Kuna shida.
Unajua watu wa
We can hear you, Eunice.
Can you hear me? Okay,
I
wave
can
to
hear
me
you.
if you can hear me. All right.
We can hear you, Shem.
Enos,
I can hear you.
Enos can hear
Yes.
me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Shida ni unaona kama hii haina nini?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So we're talking about breaking up apart by adding. All right. So we are adding by break example. I don't know if whatever I'm going to give you is actually I've understood you or not. But I'll give an example. Like for example, I have 27. I want to break it apart. Okay. So 27, I will have my 20 and plus 7. Okay. I'll have my 20 and plus 7. So when I am adding, breaking apart, when we are doing breaking addition by breaking apart, we say 20 plus 7. And always how I do it in my class, I do it like I'm doing a place value. Because place value, I put together numbers in tens and numbers in ones, I put them together. So when I get a number, for example, 20 plus 7, I say 20 plus 7 is 27. So it is 220 and 7 ones. So I put them together, it comes to 27. Okay? So for example, you can tell your children, you are breaking apart, okay? Numbers. You start by saying, let's break apart the numbers. Before you start adding, you break the numbers first. 27 has got which numbers? It has 20 and it has 7. 313 has which numbers? It has 300, it has 10, and it has 3. So when you are adding the breaking apart, when you are adding the numbers which have been broken apart, you say 300 plus 10 plus 3. So before you start doing addition, please teachers, break apart first the numbers until the children get to understand that the same number I'm going to get at the end is the same big number I had. So you say 200, okay, for grade 2, let me use for grade 2 because we are dealing with numbers, hundreds, from hundreds going downwards. So you can say 115. What numbers are in 115? We have 1 100, we have 1 tens, and we have 3 ones. So you break them apart using the place value. You will never have problems, my teachers. Use the sticks, use those sticks, tie them. Start with 1, go to tens, break apart from tens, because you start breaking apart from tens, from 10, 11, 13, 15, 20, 29, 30, 50, like that. So you start by saying 11, break apart 11, it is 10 and 1. Break apart 19, it is 10 and 9. Break apart 22, it is 10, 10, 20, that is 20 and 2. So the next lesson now, you will have to come up with that plus now. When we break apart the numbers, for us to get the real number after breaking it apart is by adding the numbers we've broken apart. And breaking apart, don't forget, break apart, actually having in mind the place value. We are breaking apart as per the place value before we start putting a plus. So later now, when the child has gotten the concept, because if you go direct, those children will be confused. They will not even remember that this is place value I'm doing, because it will go even up to the higher levels as they break apart and they put together. They will also break apart, okay? Because at some point you tell them, break it apart and take away. Enos, have I answered you?
You have answered me, madam. Thank you very much. Awesome teacher. Thank you for good work.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to hear. We have another teacher with another question for Teacher Emmy. I think we'll take maybe 2 more questions. So if you have a question, you can just unmute your mic. Zadok, I see you unmuted. Do you have a question?
Yes, so our concern,
Yeah.
like we are shifting from 844 to CBC, but you get that there are some of the things that has not changed. Like Teacher Amy said that at a long run, you need to get that the learners have gotten whatever you are teaching or you are handling. And this is a case where if you look at the content that we have and at the time frame that we have, we are still using that time for 844. How are we going to curb this one?
Okay, should I answer?
Yes, please, Jamie.
Okay. As I said, in CBC, it is the child who is guiding us and controlling the lessons. So what we mean by CBC is, as a teacher, your children are the ones who are supposed to guide you on what next, okay? So there is a great difference from the previous system, because the previous system is, as long as you thought you've actually signed in that lesson plan that you've taught it, that is it. You now start going to questions, you question them. So it's like you are making them cram what they're supposed to answer. But in CBC, you have to make sure that the concept is with the learner. The learner has gotten it and gotten it right. So you are ready now to move to the next level, okay? So like, for example, I can give you, like, when we are now assessing the grade 3s, you will look at it like when we give it assessments to grade 3, it is not that final assessment which is giving us the real result for that child, no, okay? So we have this process when the child, we have these assessments we always do in class, the ones we call formative assessments we do in class, every other time in class. We have to be having them so that it will inform the assessor or the person who is actually going to actually give a feedback about that child, to give us the real feedback about, because at some point you can rush the child, and at the end or in the middle, the child was sharp. She picked, but it reached a point where the child now started coming down. She or she could not pick anymore. But there was that child who was not picking before. But at the end, that child has now picked. That is why we are saying we are looking at the end. Has that child picked? When you are in class, when you are teaching your lesson, I've introduced, for example, addition. When I started my addition, there was that child who was not getting anything when I started. As we continue, the child picked. And I'd actually met the expectation. So what we are saying is, it is different from the previous system. It is very different. It is only that as teachers at some point, I've not adjusted so well to make sure that it is the learners who are guiding you forward or repeating the lesson. It is supposed to be the learners to guide us on how we are progressing. Thank you. Have I answered you correctly?
Yes, you've answered, but to some extent. Hello.
No.
Yes,
I
was saying, like, you've answered me somehow. To some extent, you know, we have learners in the country, and they come from different places and different regions. And this is a case where this is a curriculum that has been rolled, and you'll get that mostly there are some of the areas that for learners, like you've said, it is the learners that will guide you. So you get that for the learners to move at a pace that a learner will be moving maybe in Nairobi is different. While when the government is doing the assessment, they do it at the same time without even considering those who are in other regions which are hardship. So how are we going to go about this?
I get you very clearly, and I really understand you, because I've been in such situations where schools, the state of schools and how schools are doing programs are not the same. There are those schools who can provide for everything you need to teach in class. And if you get to those schools, those children will pick very fast, okay? And they can go to the next level. If you compare with those schools who doesn't have what is actually needed, they are struggling in getting these things, especially I can give you a very good example of the system. We are doing the same thing together, but at the end of the day, we will never be the same. because what is in public schools to have the learners actually come out so clearly within with their competencies is not what the public schools have. So there is no way to be the same. That is why we say, if you feel your learners, you are comfortable with your learners, you are free to go to the next step. You are very free to move, because you cannot just sit there and be like, the curriculum is telling me I should be here. You are satisfied. Your learners are ready to move to the next level. So you are supposed to be flexible. That is why we say CBC is very flexible. And I will repeat again, the learners are the one to guide and control learning. If your learners have not understood, please repeat. If your learners have understood, go to the next level. That is what I always do. Even me, Emmy, if you can come to my school and check my subject, I mean, maybe what class? Grade 1. But by second term, I'm done with everything in grade 1. All the topics, I'm done because of how I'm taking my children. So I have that right to go to the next level and start now bringing it in to make sure that they are getting it and we are moving. Because in private schools, it is all about marketing. And you cannot say, I'll not move, well, your salary is depending on your competencies also in class. So private schools, I know what is happening there. And it is not that you should force learning to go very fast, but go with your learners. Please, what I will always advise is go with your learners. For example, when I was taking you through math, there is nothing different. It is number value. So if you feel number value is done and you are done with your subjects, you can start number value again in grade 2. Okay? Because it is something small you are just adding. So it has no harm so long as you are not confusing your learners. Please don't confuse your learners. Please, if they have not understood, make sure they understand first. And don't go with the bright learners only. I always tell myself, who is going to advise me to continue very fast is that slow learner. If my slow learner has gotten it, I'm ready to move, because we are told to be flexible. Thank you. Have I answered you now?
Yes, you've answered me. Then I also have another concern. Like I'm very sure you are aware of this assessment that is going on, that is for the grade 3, 4, and 5. I am, and I also believe that you've come across the papers that they are doing. Like yesterday, I witnessed a case where maths class 4, the assessment maths for class 4, if you look at the paper, like CBC is saying the 844 was somehow exams oriented. And if you look at the paper that the class 4s did for maths, like it is a case where almost 90% of the questions were word problems. And we have some of the regions where the learners may not even read. So as a teacher, you'll get that maybe you have to go through all the questions as you are guiding the learners. And as they were bringing these, you get that they have covered almost everything that is supposed to be done in grade 4, or even in these other classes, grade 3, 4, 5. They have covered everything in this, their curricula, the papers that they brought. Now, as teachers, how are we going to help these learners when it's come to this? Because I presented a paper to them, and this is a case where the learner is telling you, teacher, we have not tackled this, or how I've never seen this, because I've realized that if you look at what was 844 was having in upper classes, have been narrowed down to these lower classes. You may get that there was something in class 5, it has been taken back to class 4. Something was in class 4, it has been taken back to class 3. So if you have not handled this at that level, how are we going to handle these learners? You see, it is going to be like teachers work in some of the regions because we are moving with the pace of the learners.
Thank you so much for that question. I like that question so much because I've gone through such experiences and I always could ask myself a lot of questions. As I told you earlier, I'm one of the evaluators of the books, and as an evaluator, I go through some content which has been done by someone, and the same person actually wants his content or our content be published, you get? But at some point you look at it and be like, what was this person thinking? When he was writing this content, was he serious? Is he really for real? Is he coming out with something he wants actually people to benefit from? So in that connection, I will tell you this. Who is setting these questions? The questions we have. There are teachers who are actually given an opportunity to set the questions. And as a teacher, I will always say that is what we've been fighting for long, and we are actually still fighting for, because even in the evaluation team and everything, we are like, we should have serious people given a responsibility. We should have somebody who is serious, who knows what he is looking for, who knows what he is actually trying to look for in this children, because we cannot just pick someone to set an exam and he or she doesn't have an idea of what is in that class. So that is, for me, I will say that is a mistake, and it is a mistake which is done by us, the teachers. When we are given an opportunity to do something, please, let's do research. Let's do enough research so that we avoid mistakes, because we are doing these mistakes and the mistakes are coming back to us.
I'll allow for one more question. Thank you, Zadok, for the comments. I hope you're satisfied. So we'll take one more question and then we can close the session. So ITEL A23 Pro. Okay. Do you have another question? Conrad.
Yes, Conrad is here.
Yes.
First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank those who organized for this. And I don't have a question, but I want to make a recommendation. What about if we can have a WhatsApp group where we get very important updates on CBC progress and how we do things?
Yes. Thank you for that, Conrad. Indeed, we're trying to create a community. So currently we have one that is online on the platform. If you could allow me to just use this and share my screen. If you can see it, please let me know.
It's visible.
Great. So we have done this trainings for several weeks now, and we are all doing them for free and hosting them online on this platform called cbc.co.ke. If you go to this website /CBC training, you'll be able to see different courses and some that we have done for CBC as well. For the teachers who have attended this trainings, the certificates are free. However, for us to continue developing this and organizing them, we'll be charging a small fee for now new teachers who can get the certificate once they do a short quiz. However, they can still view the training for free. So as I was saying, now once you log into this platform, you'll be required to sign up. And when you sign up, there's a CBC community in there. When you do training in a particular learning area, you'll be joined in a community for that learning area. For instance, if you're an English teacher, there'll be a channel for English teachers to join. And then there'll be a general one for all teachers to join and share on matters CBC. We'll also be posting updates on future sessions. I've seen in the chat that there's some teachers who are requesting for ECD training. Another one is requesting for CRE training. So we're in the process of organizing more trainings like this, and they'll still be free. So when you fill in that form below, we'll add you to the contact list, and you'll get all this information when these trainings are happening. But also when you join the community, now there's access to so much more where we can have forum discussions, and we'll still get access to all this information. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.